Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining me for another Make It With Me Monday. We are up to episode 38 now, if you can believe that. That's been a great, 38 weeks. I really appreciate everyone who can pop in live on Mondays or who watches it later, and I hope you've had a lot of fun making new cards every week with me. I'm going to start out tonight while people are hopping on and talking about a promotion that's currently running. We are let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Giving you a sneak peek, how about that, at a stamp set and a die set that will be in the upcoming January to June mini catalog. It's called Eden's Garden. And then in addition to that, being able to pre-order that right now, there is some other items that are a part of that collection that are only going to be available during this special promotional time. So some of these items are in limited quantities, and they will only be available while those supplies last, or until January 3rd, whichever comes first, because the promotion runs until January 3rd. So let me give you a sneak peek at Eden's Garden. This is, the first three things I'll show you are the ones that are limited time only. So this is the designer series paper. You get 2 sheets of each of the 6 designs. It's got soft succulent, evening evergreen, and then a pop of gold foil. So that's on the other side of that. So I'll kind of give you a little peek here. Look at that really cool ombre one. These are really great, just plain pattern with, again, that succulent and evergreen. And then I believe it's a basic white as the background colors. But then when you flip them over to show the fun side, look at all that really cool gold accenting. Ooh, it's so pretty. So you got like little gold foiled leaves. There's some more gold foil, a little pop in there. This is the one that probably has the most. I'm gonna check that out. That is really cool. These just have tiny little gold dots. They probably might not even show up shimmering on camera, but really super cute. And then there's that one right there. Okay. And then the other thing they have is, they're calling it cotton paper. It's 12 by 12. You get 5 sheets each of succulent and evergreen. And I really more attribute it to like tissue paper. Like you can see like how thin that is. I don't know if you can see my hand through it. There we go. So super thin. I think this would make some very interesting additions with like die cuts and stuff. I think that having that really fine paper would be really neat on some leaf designs, maybe some florals. And I'll show you a sample later where I just put it through, I just used it as a layer on that. Alrighty, and then there are these gemstones. There's this really cute little teardrop one and little rhinestone shape. I'm going to be using that when I stamp live tonight. So those 3 items are available only while supplies last or until January 3rd. And then here's the stamp set. It's called Eden's Garden. It's one of our distinctive ones, so it's already got some light and shading put directly into the stamp, which is really kind of cool. And then there's the die set. We've got several different borders, some leaves. This one you could put a little phrase into and punch out, and then this is designed to do an edging and cut the edge of your paper in that shape. And I did cut one of them out, so this is that giant frame right there, and this is actually using the cotton paper. So super thin, but really pretty. I like it for framing. That's exactly what I think of whenever I see these kind of shapes, is I think of just framing an image or a phrase or something like that, and that's kind of what I'll be doing with one of my samples tonight. You'll see that later. All right, so again, that's Eden's Garden collection, and if you are interested in more details about that, check it out on my Facebook page or shoot me a note and I will give you all the details. Alrighty, so let's get going. Here's what you needed tonight. I just realized I did not bring my adhesive over, which I probably would want to use eventually. There we go. So you needed a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11, and then I had you put 2 score lines in it. One at 5 1/2, so that it directly folds in half, and then another one at 9 1/2. It'll kind of create a little flap, and you'll see what that's all about in a little bit. Then you need, I'm going to be using soft succulent. Then you need a neutral piece that's 3 by 5, so I'm going to be using basic white, and then another neutral piece 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. We're going to end up using that one horizontally, so I'm going to lay that out that way so I don't get them mixed up. And then lastly, a piece of designer series paper that's 1 by 3. This is one of the pieces from that Eden's Garden collection that I just showed you. Alrighty, then you're going to want some images and phrases that can fill in this piece for sure, your 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you might decide that you want to add something to your 3 by 5 as well. So that's going to be kind of your choice. Once you get going and see what we're making, you might decide that you want to have something in there as well. Just going to get my gems ready. Okay, so let's get started. Let's grab our 1 by 3 piece of designer series paper, and we're going to put it onto the top edge of that 3 by 5. Now it's your choice if you want it to be completely at the top or leave a tiny little bit of border. Again, that's totally up to you. I'm going to show you samples with it showing both ways, I should say. All right, I'm going to leave it with a little bit of a border this time, I think. Oops. Helps if we put it on straight, of course. My fingers are sticky from the adhesive. There we go. Okay, so that's all we're going to do to that one for now. Like I said, you might decide later that you want to add something to this because I'll show you a couple different things you can be doing with that piece. So let's just set that one aside. Now we're going to take our card base, and you're going to want to do those score lines. That's the 5 1/2 one. Give that a really nice deep crease. And then you're going to fold this one down towards the bottom. So we'll give that one a good crease. Okay. Then for now, we're going to run some adhesive in here. I would recommend that if you find later that this isn't holding together quite as nicely as you'd like, go for something a little stronger than your normal Tombow or Stamp and Seal. You could use the Stamp and Seal Plus, which is designed to do more 3D type elements. Or you could do like our tear and tape or a regular glue. So I'm just going to run adhesive down. That's the inside of where we just scored, okay? And we're just going to adhere that like so. Okay, and then we're going to set that aside for now. Let's take your 2 3/4 piece by 4 1/4, and remember we're going to use it horizontally. And I'm going to go ahead and add my phrasing and my images. I'm going to be using, again, the Eden's Garden in Soft Succulent for my phrase. It says sending hugs. And then I'm going to use Evening Evergreen to add some detail, kind of like a sprig type. Oh dear. That one just flew right out of my hands. And now I have ink on my table, so give me 1 second. There we go. Now I won't stick my fingers in it. So then I have this little sprig shape that I'm going to be using to add some elements. And pardon my head, I'm just going to sneak in here a little bit so I can see better. Okay, and I'm just going to add some of the guys around just to fill in my space. And as you can see, there's some light and shading already built into that stamp, which is kind of cool because then it does some of the more artistic type work for you. I'll bring it up closer in just a second once I fill them all in. Okay, so I basically just kind of made a shape, a frame around there. And then I don't know if you can see, so you see how some of it's lighter and some of it's darker. That's built directly into the stamp. I don't have to do anything else special with it, just use the stamp as is. It's one of the things that's really kind of neat about what they call our distinctive line of stamps. I'm just going to round off the corners. I like when the imagery flows off the edge. It kind of actually makes it seem more complete, even though you see images as incomplete, if that makes sense. Okay, this one's going to get adhered now directly to the bottom of this one. And again, you can leave a little edging if you want, or you can put it directly at the bottom. Totally your choice. Okay. Now for now, I'm not going to have you guys adhere this flap down because I want to show you some options that I've done with it, and you might decide that you want to do that as well. So we're not going to adhere it down yet, but bear in mind eventually we are going to add some adhesive to this. I recommend running it along the long edge, and then that will just adhere down like that. So like I said, for now, leave yours popped up so you can see some other things I did. I'm just going to put mine down so that it doesn't keep popping up while I keep working. Okay, I'm going to choose, like I said, now if you have other gems or anything like that that you wanted to add onto it, I'm going to put a couple of those cute little diamond shape, teardrop shaped, whatever they are, little gems under there. And I like to work in threes, so we'll add one there as well. Okay, so now it has just a little bit of bling on it. And you can do, again, anything that you want to with that piece. That is your choice. Okay, then on this piece, what you'll find is that it's going to be able to tuck right in to that pocket that we made. Okay, now there's several options you can use with this. This would be another thing where you could add like a gift card to it. You could stick a little glue dot on the back of the gift card. It should fit that direction, if that makes sense. And then you'd be able to tuck it in there and use this as a gift card holder. You can add more imagery or phrasing or whatever you'd like to this piece. And then that's how they, instead of opening up a card to read the message inside, it's going to be slid out to read the message inside. Okay, so while you ponder some of that, like what you want to be doing, I'm going to show you my other finished samples so that you can see some options for how you might want to finish yours off once you're all done. All right, so the first one I'll show you, I used the Candy Canes background folder, or background stamp, I should say. It's in the mini catalog on page 35, and my phrase comes from the Frosted Peppermint. So sending you peppermint kisses, and then I added a little bit of this red ruched ribbon that's also in there on page 9. I just punched that out with the tailored tag punch. And so again, you can see the other difference I did here is I rounded the corners of each of those parts. Just a little bit of different look, gives it a little softer feel. And there again, there I put a phrase, and I stamped the candy canes again at the top instead of using designer series paper. Keeps it a little flatter. Put Happy Holidays on there, and again, I could totally use this for a gift card. Or I discovered my hot cocoa packet fits in there. Just like that. So that would be a really cute handoff or a cute little treat for your Secret Santa, you know, little teacher thank you, something like that. Anything that you can fit in there. So the hot cocoa packets, the apple cider packets, I don't know, maybe about like tea, maybe a couple tea bags attached to some cardstock could slide in there. So just a little comfort pack. So you can either do, again, a card or use that pocket to actually hold something else. So that's kind of fun. All right, the next one, I used a couple elements that are actually in the annual catalog, even though they're Christmas related. This big stamp down here is another background stamp called Festive Foliage. I stamped it in Mossy Meadow, and then I embossed it with clear embossing powder. So it's kind of got a little shimmer and a raised up texture to it, which is really kind of fun. And I paired that with the Evergreen Elegance bundle. So you get, if you want to bundle them together, you get the stamp set and the punch that creates this border type look, and it actually punches out the trees entirely. So there's no edging or anything like that. You just get a row of trees. And then I took a sponge dauber and I added a little bit of Mossy Meadow ink to those trees by brushing my sponge dauber across it. That just kind of gave it something to pop up off of that space. So that's in, again, the annual catalog, and that is on page 90 and 91. And then I used some of the Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper. That's the one that has all those bright pink and turquoisey colors, but then on the back side there's this Mossy Meadow one with little like snow dots. I think it's really kind of cute. And then the phrase comes from that Evergreen Elegance stamp set as well. And I added one of the tree images to the bottom. Okay, so again, this one's using more like a card. So a little phrase, a little verse, and a little spot to sign your name or do a message. And you'll see there again, that's one of those that I didn't adhere all the way to the top, so it's got just a little pop of that vanilla or white showing through. Okay, then I have a couple more samples using the Eden's Garden collection. So you can see some of the things I did differently here. I've tied a ribbon around that space in this sample. I have some, it's the gold cord actually. So before I adhered that flap down, I did the wrapping and the tying. And then on this one, I chose to use a die cut phrase across it instead of anything else. I put my message up there and just a floral image down here, but I added ribbon into the part that goes on the inside, and again stamped a little image there. So that's something to think about as you want finishing up your card. Do you want to round the corners? Do you want to add the ribbon element? Do you want to add anything else to the strip? You could do more DSP, anything else that you would want to put there. If you want to decorate just this part, use this part for your phrase. All kinds of options with this layout. I wanted to share something like this because it is close to holiday season, and a lot of people do think of gift card, giving away gift cards, and I like to dress them up just a little bit. I just don't want to hand somebody a card. I realize I'm all crooked today. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if I can get you straightened out here. So I think this is another fun one. Like I said, you can add treats into it. You can add your gift cards into it. All different options that we can do with that. And I wanted to show you, I actually got inspiration from a card I made, I don't even know how long ago, because I can't necessarily identify the stamp set or anything on it. But as I'm prepping, I'm pulling out old samples and things, I found this one. It was back when we had metallic silver cardstock, if you remember that. Oh, hi, Mary. Well, hopefully you'll be able to catch this on the post feed and also on YouTube. So I'm sorry that your internet's being a little goofy today. Back then, too, we had vellum that was had words done in silver or gold. So there's an embossed silver hearts under here, and then the little vellum on top that has like joy, bliss, love, all kinds of little phrases put atop of it. And then do you remember when we had, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank here? Eyelets. Remember setting eyelets with all your like little pounding tools and all that kind of stuff? So I had eyelets in there to hold the ribbon through. I mean, all kinds of really fun. This was really fun to come across as an old sample. And then I added, and again, an embossed stamp, and then there's a phrase in here for about, it's designed to be a wedding card. That is where I came across that one as I was cleaning out some old samples. And again, I do not remember how long ago this was made, but the layout worked perfectly for something I could show you today to be, again, gift card holder, little note. And I also like the idea of being able to toss in a little gift, a little treat, something like that to be able to share. We can do this around this holiday time. Drop one off in your neighbor's door. Like I said, teacher, Secret Santa, stocking stuffer, all kinds of really great fun things to do with this layout. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. And if you didn't get a chance to watch live, I hope you were enjoying watching this later. All right, have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.